Welcome to another episode of Tangled Rights. Episode number
37.
37, which is how old I am.
I'm older.
I know.
I'm about to be even older.
It's
How does
coming
that
up.
work? You know, like, do I?
How does time work?
No, I understand time. I just mean, like, you know, since my birthday is not far away, but like, I'm most of the way there. Can I, you know?
Can you round up? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
In Asian cultures, don't they they always are a year up.
What do you mean?
They
Like they count the
call
9 months?
themselves one when they're,
When they're born?
yeah.
Because the 9 months
That's your first year.
gestating?
No, I don't think that's even a consideration. It's just how they count numbers.
Oh, it's like the year that I'm on Earth.
Yeah.
And it's day one.
That's year one. Year
Okay.
one.
No, I don't hate that. But man, no, that'd be bad because that made me fucking 40. Because I'm about to be 39.
Yeah.
That's trash.
Well, we'll talk about that in next episode about you being 38, and then the next episode 39. You're getting
goodness.
there.
I'm getting there.
It's
I'm
creeping.
Old balls.
All right, first thing is we're going to put in a message from our sponsor, Aura. Hey, Tangled Rights listeners. In today's digital world, we're all spending more time online, whether it's shopping, banking, or just connecting with friends. But have you ever stopped to think about how safe your personal information really is? That's where today's sponsor, Aura, comes in. Aura is a comprehensive online safety solution that protects you from identity theft, data breaches, and even unwanted surveillance. With Aura, you can monitor your credit, track your personal information, and get real-time alerts if something suspicious happens, all from one easy-to-use app. Not only that, Aura helps protect your family with tools like parental controls and fraud protection. Plus, if the worst does happen, their dedicated team of experts is ready to help you recover, giving you peace of mind wherever you go. Don't let your online life put you at risk. Protect your personal information and feel safe while you enjoy everything the internet has to offer. Click the link in the description below or visit aura.com/tangledrights and get a 14-day free trial to see how easy it is to stay safe online.
Protect yourself. It's critical. Also, this is not to be construed as legal advice, nor does it create a attorney-client relationship. If you have a specific legal question and you need counsel, seek local counsel. Unless, of course, you live in the state of Nevada and or Kansas, in which case, give me a call. I got you, dog.
Especially in criminal law, you want local attorney for your criminal case.
Yes, 100%.
Because they know how
Probably
things work.
having me in Kansas as a criminal attorney wouldn't be great, but I do know people all over the state from my time working there. Come holler.
Yeah.
Remember? We're going to do that now. I rewatched that episode last night, or I actually watched it last night.
All right. Do you have something else to say? No. Okay.
I don't remember. Just come holler.
Come holler. All right. Very first case we're going to talk about. You don't know anything about this. So,
I usually don't know about anything. So.
all right. This is about a guy named Rob Limon. Okay.
Okay.
Rob Limon. I think that's how they say it. White people with Spanish names sometimes say them different. Lyman.
It's Lamone.
Lamon. Even.
Limon.
Limon. That's lemon or lime.
Limon?
And
No, limon, Limon, with an accent on the I.
no, I don't want to talk Spanish with you.
Isn't it? I thought it was limon.
All right, this happens in Silver Lake, California, which is a small community you've probably driven past on the way to LA from Las Vegas on the I-15.
LA.
Okay. LA.
Have you driven to LA?
LA. Thank you. LA.
So this is just like it seems like a small retirement community. I don't know much about it, but it's outside of Hesperia, Apple Valley. That's just north of the big El Cajon Pass. If you've ever driven on the 15 to California, Austin knows what I'm talking about, right? Maybe some of our listeners don't know, but there's a big kind of downhill curve when you get into what you'd consider LA San Bernardino area. So there used to be a minor league baseball team there called the High Desert Mavericks. When my daughter was like 4 months, I took a trip and went to 3 different minor league baseball stadiums, minor league games. Had a blast. One of them was the High Desert Mavericks. So this hat was just re-released. The team was defunct, and then they re-released this hat. So it's blue with red, and the red M is wearing a cowboy hat. And then there's another logo that's like a Burt Reynolds that's really cool. So
Does it have a mustache?
He does have an awesome mustache. I hope that gets re-released. I was in law school at the time I went, and I was poor, so I was like, oh, I'll buy hats later, and then
Because you knew that you'd be.
and then the team went defunct, so then you can't find hats. And so luckily, they just remade this one. So
Does it also have like the slightly provocative chest hair?
No, it's
always poking
just
out?
his face. It's
okay.
just a face.
Yeah, just show it to me.
I'll show it to you.
Burt Reynolds was like a man's man. Is he still alive, or did he pass? Recently?
He passed away a few years ago.
Check this out on the right here.
Goodness,
That's cool, right?
dude, I might get pregnant looking at that.
Yeah. So I mean, minor league baseball is cool, especially this team. This was one I went to where it's like these are fans that were there all the time watching these young kids. And minor league baseball players don't make that much money. They're like making 30 grand a year, 20 grand a year, like not that much.
Hold on, they also get their room and board paid for. They get to play a sport.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. I'm not saying that they make a lot of money. I'm just saying like they do have some benefits that exceed their actual pay. Typically, they'll have like shared housing where you'll have 4 or 5 dudes in a house. They're all from the same team, or even they'll have like an apartment building that the team owns.
Yeah.
Depending, and then they have like, so they do get more. It's kind of like when you look at on the Transparent Nevada website.
Yeah.
It's this is the salary, but the total compensation. So the total compensation is far more than $30K.
All right. But not quite living the dream.
How great would that be? You have the option of potentially going pro in a sport where that's the primary way you have to do it is to go up through the ranks.
Yeah.
And you get paid when you're a young man to play a sport.
It's not bad.
I moved to another country, tried to do that, and still couldn't succeed. So I'm jealous of those guys, man. That's good for them.
I'll tell you, the fans, they were, after a guy would hit a home run for the home team, High Desert Mavericks, they handed around a hat to put cash in for that guy.
And they'd give it to him?
Yeah.
That's brilliant. I
Yeah.
love that. Like a tip,
and this was
jar
this
for
was a
hitting
small
dingers.
Now the first dinger is always a classic like this.
small stadium, single A. It's a California league, so these are just small teams, not that popular. High Desert was really out in the middle of nowhere. But it was fun. It was real fun. And we went to a couple other stadiums on that trip too, in San Bernardino and Rancho Cucamonga, I think. Or no, Lake Elsinore. Lake Elsinore Storm. Anyway, that's a trip into my minor league,
Love it.
visits. So this is close to this small kind of, it looks like a retirement community. There's a lake there. And let me tell you about Rob Lamone. He was in a little group with his friends who were in their early 30s, and they called themselves the Wolf Pack, okay? All
Was
right.
this late 90s, early 2000s?
This
Red
happened
and black, baby.
2014. No, not
Dang it.
Not NWO or
Yeah, the
NWO
Wolf
Rag.
Pack, the New World Order. Woo!
Yeah, I watched that as a kid too.
Dude, Sting from the rafters, bro. The best one. He's got the white mask on. You think he's going to be red and black? Nope. Fooled him.
Oh, yeah.
Can't see him. John Cena before he was Cena.
Do you know anything
and then
about
he
this,
smacks
Austin?
somebody with a baseball bat.
Do you know anything about this?
Yeah.
WCW? WWF? WCW?
WWF into WWE. Yeah.
They bought WCW was the other federation too.
I only know about WWE because I worked for 2K Games for 3 years, and the first game I got put on was WWE 2K20.
Nice.
So I had to learn everything in like 6 months about WWE.
Did you know who Sting was?
Yeah, I knew who Sting was. I knew who Sting was before I even did that.
I mean, I
'cause
feel like he's pretty iconic from
He
the
was also on a
rafters.
monster
He would
truck.
like, huh?
He was also on a monster truck. I was really into Monster Jam as a kid, and I remember they had his face on one.
Oh, okay.
And so did
remember that.
Goldberg and
I remember Goldberg and Gravedigger. Those are the only ones I remember.
Kane was a big one. when I
No,
was
Gravedigger, the monster trucks.
Oh, you're talking about monster trucks.
Dude, my favorite, if you want to look up a guy that's ridiculous, the early WCW guys the late WCW guys, Rikishi. Do you remember him? What did he call it? Rikishi's finisher was the stink something or other.
Stink face.
No way.
Oh, we did him on the pod.
Stink face. Yeah, stink face. And then there was Alex Wright. He was that weird German who like
I don't remember him.
he did this thing where partially through he was like mad at America, so he refused to speak in English anymore. So he would only come out and speak in German, and they had a translator that would like follow him around and stuff. It was brilliant. As a little kid, I was like, yeah, this is great.
Stone Cold Steve Austin was huge when I was a kid.
Stone Cold was on WWF. He wasn't on WCW. So I was a WCW guy.
But then they combined eventually.
Sure, but before
in the timeline.
that's when you had like Scott Steiner, Triple H, Kane, Undertaker, all those guys. I'm trying to think of the goofy ones like Rikishi.
Diamond Dallas Page was a
Goldust.
weird one.
He would come out in that like
Gold face.
the gold
paint.
outfit that looked like that one that Britney Spears wore in that fucking music video 2 years later, and he like blow dusted. She was so stupid. I remember being little and like,
This is amazing. It's
I'd
real.
get so mad when people would tell me it was fake.
My parents hated it and would tell me it's fake too. And
My dad thought it was fun, but he would always be like, "Oh, you can't get hit in the face with a bat." I was like, "Yes, you can. They're just tougher than you. You're just a pussy, Dad."
they get hit with chairs and they really bleed, Dad.
How many backyard matches did you have growing up?
Oh, me and my brothers did this all the
Tons.
time.
I watched a kid get his knee ripped out of socket. You know that move they do where you're on their back and they get you by the leg and they like swing it and do an elbow drop on the inside of your leg? He did that, but when he swung it, just all the force, it took it out of socket. It's awful. I got DDT'd into the bumper of a 1964 Chevy Stepside, I think it was. So my forehead hit the bumper. It was really not awesome. Yeah, backyard wrestling, bad idea, but okay, sorry, segue. Do you remember the actual backyard wrestling? It was those dipshits that would film themselves like getting tackled into razor wire, getting the long lights busted on them, like stapled in the forehead. It was like after WCW got popular, like it really blew up. Then there was these idiots that were in backyards like actually hurting each other. I'm gonna send you a clip of this.
All right. Have we taken a left turn enough here?
We have. Let's get off of this.
All right.
Anyway, wrestling is awesome.
So Robert Lamone, his group is called the Wolf Pack. It was a group of friends. Robert was married. Who's got sound on here? Robert was married to Sabrina Lamone, his wife. Okay. One day they decide that they want to open up their marriage and try swinging. Which whatever. If you're into that, congratulations. But then a young firefighter who was 10 years younger than Sabrina came her way and they fell in love with each other. Okay. So he's 22, she's 32. He's a very religious guy.
Sounds like it.
Okay. He admits that, he was sleeping with this guy's wife, so it causes some issues. And then
But if they're open, then
I don't know. Maybe romantic.
it was outside the bounds of rules.
Whatever
like
the rules
where-
are. I don't know.
I have a couple of friends that do this, and they, I think the rules with a lot of them are, and obviously not for everybody, but as long as they know about it, it's above board, it's cool.
Yes.
But if you're hiding it, then it's a lie, and that gets back into the infidelity thing,
Yes.
which it's a bit of a splitting hairs thing, but I kind of understand it.
If you can navigate that, congratulations.
Yeah.
I could never.
I am not even adept at dealing with one woman. So if you tried to throw two at me, I would probably fall apart.
All right. So anyway, there is some romantic relation between, I think that goes beyond with a young firefighter. Okay. Fast forward a few years. Robert has a job just out of town in, I think, Bakersfield area.
That's not far from here.
Okay. So not too far from where they live either. You take the old Highway 68 or something like that out there. And he is at a gas station.
Okay.
And he is gunned down.
Uh-oh.
And for a period of time, they have no suspects. Right? Huh. No suspects.
Sure.
They look into the wife. They get a warrant to wiretap the phone. So
why? Just because the wife or the significant other is always a primary suspect?
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know about the warrant or the legality of it. Sure. That's not part of this analysis that we have. So there are hundreds and hundreds of hours of conversations between widow and boyfriend who you can tell are still very much in love.
Okay.
But it seems like they're trying to keep their relationship quiet. They have this kind of religious bond and they talk about forgiveness and things like that kind of they hint around that they have something that they regret, but they don't outright ever say it on the phone.
Because they're smart.
Because they're at least a little smart, And then even the cop, this was a Dateline episode recently, so that's how it came to my eyes.
You watch Dateline?
It was on the TV. I was watching it.
You are 900 years old.
Apparently I am. So they say enough to to
get more warrants, get
more warrants. Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay. So they arrest boyfriend.
Okay.
Okay. In his 20s, young firefighter, and they charge him with murder. All right. Using these phone calls as some of the evidence behind it.
Okay.
There's some more stuff. We're going to have some advice at the end of this. Okay. So just be ready. So
Let me guess. It involves something similar to this.
yes. Well, I
think we've already given the
but
advice.
no.
Don't shoot people.
Don't
unless
shoot
it's legally
people.
justified.
Don't shoot people. Don't trust anyone is what this is about.
Dun,
So
dun.
despite his undying love for Sabrina, he decides to make a deal with the cops that he is going to testify at the trial for her accessory, her involvement in the murder. He's going to take a plea deal to lessen his sentence. Okay. Boyfriend.
Uh-huh.
And he ends up testifying at the trial for widow. Okay.
Did they have any evidence other than that?
No, they didn't have any evidence besides phone calls, kind of circumstantial stuff.
But he probably did it because he immediately rolled over as soon as he had the
He
cops
did.
looking at him.
And he went and testified that he did it and that she had helped plan it and all this stuff. So
Was there any physical evidence? Oh, this is where the gun was.
nothing. They had done a good job of getting rid of everything.
That seems so weird.
Yeah. So they had tried to make it look like a botched robbery, that he was trying to steal something, and yet he had bullets, in his back. It was obvious that he had been shot in the back as he was trying to retreat. So there were some things that weren't lining up with the botched robbery, but from what I saw from this, yeah, there's nothing that would have linked her besides his testimony. Obviously, the family, the friends wanted them to go after her because they believed that she was at fault. And sometimes that will persuade or be enough for the prosecution to take a stab at it or, make an attempt of it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's one of those things people know but aren't able to prove in court. Like, who else would it be, I guess, is the big question. This doesn't look like a botched robbery. This looks pre-planned. So the advice we have: do not talk to anyone. Don't plan crimes with people.
If you're gonna,
they'll
just
turn
don't
on you.
ever speak about it ever again.
And they did.
And if you do-
they did a careful job of not speaking about it. But the common thread between the phone calls was, hey, we have to forgive ourselves. We have to move past this.
Sure.
It was just weird. If they played some of the tapes on there, and it was just really weird. They would pray together on the phone and
Praying together with strangers is weird.
well, they're lovers, but not open lovers either because they're trying to distance themselves from this murder as well. So it was just a weird.
When you said shot in the back robbery, it made me think of Seth Rich.
I think there were bullets in the front and back, but yeah, go ahead about Seth Rich.
So July 10th, 2016, he was shot in the back in front of his apartment in D.C., and they had bruises on his knees, face, 2 shots in the back, and none of his property was taken. And they said that it was a robbery.
Yeah.
Watch, wallet, phone, everything's still there. He was a staffer for a prominent politician, and I believe he's the one that leaked that that this politician had deleted emails from a server, and then he was promptly killed.
That's what you're talking about.
He was killed, but he was killed in a robbery.
He was killed during a robbery.
Yeah. I am not suicidal.
So there was, I'll go back. There was some physical evidence, but I think a good defense attorney could argue that this was innocuous. A motorcycle helmet, red bandana, and backpack, matching the description. There's probably nothing specific about any of those things.
It was a black motorcycle helmet,
so,
a red bandana, and a black backpack.
So that's not much. In any ordinary circumstances, if you found that wouldn't be enough to convict somebody.
No, not at all.
But don't trust anyone.
No.
Don't trust anyone in a murder plot. Don't fall in love.
Talk about it.
Don't talk about it on the phones. The cop would feed him information, to say, hey, we have a print. and then judge their phone call after. And it wasn't, like, oh, hey, look, they're going to find who did this. It was more like buckling down, like, oh, we just have to pray to be, released from this sin that we have upon us, or something like that.
Yeah, because you're banging someone's wife, dude.
So,
and
that,
they were
that
convicted? She was convicted?
She was convicted based on his testimony. Yeah, because he put it on her. He said, yeah, she planned it with me. She told me to do it.
He's
she
not
wanted
very
to be with
smart,
me.
It sounds like.
He took a deal for manslaughter instead of murder. So he got 25 years instead of, life.
Probably wouldn't have gotten anything.
And he's in his 20s, right? So
well, he's going to get out in his 50s. He's no longer a hot young fireman.
Well, I don't know. That was a weird one. I saw. All right, we got some more fun ones to talk about. This was one you sent me. Metro officer pulls gun on estranged wife and new boyfriend. You remember you sent me that one?
I do remember that.
And he is being charged with a few crimes. I did look him up, and there are a few crimes stemming from this.
Is he in custody?
I didn't see the bail information.
Hold on. Tell me his name.
Robert Bell.
B-E-L-L, Robert?
B-E-L-L. There's some 2025 charges. So when we have clients reach out to us, it's all public information we look up on what your charges are.
No, he is not in custody at CCDC.
He's not at custody at CCDC. He does have charges, so he must have posted bond.
Can anybody see that, or just
anybody can see that? Yes.
Anybody who's smart enough to know how to use the internet,
which not a lot of people know where to look,
right?
Or how to spell.
Yeah, that is a problem. There's certain courts you need birthdays of people in order to search. Yeah. Las Vegas Justice Court, Henderson Justice Court, those are kind of bigger crimes.
Clark County Detention Center, you need is a name.
Clark County Detention Center, you can see if somebody's currently,
I can actually...
Or just
current.
Yeah, you only see who's in custody.
Active custody, yeah. So,
So, I'm going to look up something real quick for him, just because I'm curious.
For who?
Our esteemed producer.
Oh, see if he's in custody right now.
Well, I know he's not in custody. He's sitting right in front of me.
Oh,
stupid.
that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not in custody. I didn't get out.
Uh-oh, you escaped.
You made bail.
A-L-V-A-R-E-Z, right? Yep. All right, let's see here. Oh, you've never had anything in justice court? You've never had a traffic ticket? You've never been arrested?
He's squeaky clean. He lives in North, but he's from North Las Vegas.
No, the ticket I got was in Las Vegas.
Was it Muni though?
Muni probably, yeah.
And when I filled it out, they said if you plead guilty, we'll just wipe it.
Oh, you did the buyout? Yeah, no wonder. He's got nothing on his record.
Clean guy.
Good for
Clean
him,
guy.
bro.
Champ, baby.
All right, so Robert Bell is being charged with coercion with force or threat of use of force, assault with the use of a deadly weapon, kidnapping, second degree, and then it shows the charges that were dismissed that originally are put in by the cops, but were denied. The DA didn't charge on these: assault constituting domestic violence with use of deadly weapon and coercion with force, threat of force.
Assault with a deadly weapon,
yeah,
constituting domestic violence should fit because he pulled a gun on his ex-wife.
Hey, I don't know who he pulled the gun on. Like, there's limited information that comes out, and more will come out. But they didn't charge on that. Maybe he pointed it more at the new boyfriend.
Yeah. Yes. I just searched my name. No pending cases.
And you have a more common name too.
I searched with my middle name and my date of birth.
Okay.
Because I'm not screwing around. I need to know if it's me.
All right. Well, I'm glad it's not.
Well, I mean, that's a wild one. Again, part of me wants to say maybe they're taking it easy on him, but I'm pretty sure that they don't take it easy on people.
Well, it's always a weird position to be going after cops, because do other cops say, yeah, he's the bad one, go after him?
Well, I
or
think
is there a brotherhood where they're like...
The prosecutors are going to be the ones that are going to be like, no, we're going to hose this guy.
Yeah, but they don't want to harm the relationship. So it's like, is this persona non grata, or is this, somebody we like? I don't know.
So there is another Justin Wilson.
There's got to be multiple.
But... when I limit some of the information and I look at the dates that these things were filed, I'm glad, because I wasn't even out of high school for most of them, or I was in another state, either in California when I was in the Marines or whatever. There's a couple active warrants. That's why I was like, ugh. I made that face.
All right, we're going to talk about a couple police interactions. Okay, now that we're talking about police interactions.
I love that.
I sent you one this week, which was just absolutely hilarious.
Oh my God. You're talking about the traffic stop?
Yes, traffic stop. This happens in Jacksonville, Florida.
Not funny at all.
I was so surprised at what happened, and my default reaction is laugh. So I watched this and I was just laughing like, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe that
it's funny in like the Dadaism, like absurdity of it."
Yes,
but as a person who
carries a firearm,
all the time
with one chambered is a big part of this too.
Yeah, I have a round chambered because no, he wants to die, and that's fine. I don't care. I'm going to take a life insurance policy out on him.
What I'm seeing is, carrying this does give you a risk of being shot.
Yeah, sure. The risk is not zero. The risk is not zero, but it's funny in the sense that it's absurd. You expect somebody to not. Let's insert the video real quick.
Let's insert the video.
I appreciate it, man, being very honest.
Oh, you're all right. Oh, shit. You okay? Put the gun down.
Put down.
Have we inserted it?
There is a note to insert it.
Oh, it's going to get inserted.
It's inserted. All right. So for those of you who are not visually watching this, a routine traffic stop, okay? White cop, black man. Just put it out there just so it, the white cop says, "Hey, you didn't stop at that light. You blew that red." And at first the guy says, "No, it was yellow."
Well,
a little bit, just a normal back and forth.
What he said was, it was yellow when I went into it, red when I got through it.
Yep.
Right. So when he starts,
just a little defensive, and then completely drops it. Like,
you got me.
He's like, "All right, do your investigation. Here's my license." And then the cop says something. He says, "Do you have anything dangerous in the vehicle?"
Yes, I've got a firearm.
And he says, "Yes, I have a firearm."
Where is it? On me.
And Florida is not a duty to inform state. We had this discussion. Maybe we need to look in this specifically. Do you have anything that can harm me? Is not asking if you have a firearm.
Correct. But a firearm can harm you.
But a firearm can harm you.
Is that an unequivocal request to detail whether you have a firearm or not? Whatever.
That might have to go to Supreme Court to decide, hey, anything that can harm me. Is that like poking me when I touch you or like pat you down? I'm driving a vehicle that can harm you. Like, I got these guns, these muscles. Like,
can you explain really quick? Duty to inform.
Duty to inform.
Oh,
Justin, go back.
Duty to inform is like, there are certain states that say that when you get pulled over, you have to tell the police officer you have a firearm.
Okay,
Right?
Nevada
If
is
you have a
not one of those.
carry license or whatever. And I think we talked about this before. I know we did because I pulled it up and we talked about it.
A little bit, yeah.
There's a map. It's pretty basic. You just Google it. But Florida is not one of those.
And Nevada's not one either.
And then there's another one where it's like, okay, there's no duty to inform. If the police officer asks you, do you have to tell them or not? There's several different, tiers of what you're supposed to do.
So if you're asked by a police officer in Nevada if you have a firearm, I'd answer yes.
Yeah.
If they ask you. They can see if you have a CCW that usually pops up,
The way that I always do it is driver's license, CCW.
One hand, the other hand.
Out the window, windows rolled down. And then because of where my weapon sits, I'll usually throw it all the way to the other side of the dash, where in my seatbelt in my truck, if I wanted to get to it, I would have to unbuckle myself. It's as far away from me as it can get, unless I've got a passenger, in which case I'll just stuff it down in my center console or something. But I let them know right up front. It was like that time I told you about that stupid NHP officer that yanked me out of my truck.
And
Dick.
Justin, you have your gun with you, so let's talk about the holster. It's made out of most good holsters nowadays, instead of leather, are made from a material called Kydex. Okay, and it's plastic-like. It's definitely harder, firmer. Will not get disformed.
There's a little bit of give to it, but it's still.
It's not plastic. It's much firmer than plastic.
Yeah.
This is kind of. I think olden days you grow up like everybody has a leather holster.
Correct. And you can still get them like that.
And people can still get leather holsters. You kind of see the cop with the shoulder harness thing. That's kind of what you'd think. But
the way this guy had his, it was like on one side or something.
So people can carry, and we talk about it as a clock. There's 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 4 o'clock. People can do them all sorts of different ways. Or you can appendix carry. That's basically just, 12 o'clock. That's, I guess, the most common. And Justin is showing us his 12 o'clock carry here. Appendix, inner waistband, IWB, they call that.
Yeah.
So.
And you cannot, it prints a small amount as I'm looking down, but I don't think.
If you're not looking for it, you wouldn't know.
If you're not looking for it, you wouldn't know. And
it's a full-size pistol.
A small percentage.
Essentially the same size as a Glock. It's a Smith & Wesson M&P 9 2.0. It's got a 17-in-1 capacity. Pretty basic.
All right. So suffice it to say, we're just talking about the holster that this specific individual has as well. There's a dispute as to whether he does have a CCW or he doesn't. I think he says no.
I think he said no.
I think he said no,
video.
but I saw it reported that he did. So I don't know what he said because the cop just said okay. So the cop says, "I'm going to have you go out and we're going to just take the pistol off you." Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what the cop decides to do for his own safety.
Also, there was 3 officers. It's important to note.
There are 3 officers
and
there.
And he approached at the passenger side, not like a busy street, like a regular city street, but not like a main road. And the other 2, once the officer was like, okay, we're going to have you get out, he tells them he's being super compliant. We're just going to get him out and remove the weapon. And then they approach, they get him out. He puts his hands up.
And the cop doesn't have to do this.
The compliant thing is just the important part.
The cop doesn't have to do this. He doesn't have to pull him out. There's a Supreme Court case, okay, Pennsylvania versus Mims, that say when a cop stops you, you do have to get out of the vehicle if he asks you.
If he asks you.
He can ask you to get out of the vehicle for his safety. He's allowed to do that. So you cannot have righteous indignation saying, I don't have to get out of my vehicle. The cop can ask you, and you have to, okay? That it is what it is.
And that's federal.
Okay.
That applies to all.
That applies
50.
to all states unless a state wanted to say, no,
Yeah, sure.
We're not allowed to take you out of your vehicle. I'm not aware of any state that has that. So because the state can give you more rights than
Which can
the
be
U.S.
tangled.
Constitution.
They can be tangled.
And that relates to the tangling of these rights.
Oh.
So under Pennsylvania versus Mims, they ask you to come out of the vehicle. You're coming out of the vehicle. Okay. So he comes out of the vehicle, very compliant, puts his hands on the top.
Yep.
You saw in the video already, but we'll tell you anyway. If you watch it in super slow speed, a female officer wants to take the gun out of the holster.
Well,
Normally, Justin, myself, we will take the holster with the gun out together.
She tries to take the holster first, but not for very long.
You think she really does? I don't know if she
absolutely.
does, or just
she
tries
tried
to
and
see.
It got stuck. But that's because there's a little retention I don't know
Tang.
what you call it.
They call
it's
it
literally
tang,
just like
right?
a hook. But all you have to do is the reason that you have this little knob down here on the end is because when you pull it out,
It'll go.
It's like a centimeter of movement, and then you just pull it straight up and it's out.
So the
It caught on his belt.
number one reason that you even have a holster is to protect that trigger. To have that trigger protected, there's no accidental discharges, or we call them NDs, negligent discharges. Okay, so cops will say the letters ND in this video. Elsewhere, you'll hear the letters ND.
I'd say I call it a GND,
Oh well, yeah.
grossly negligent discharge.
Yeah. So what you'll see, for whatever reason, the police officer pulls it out with her left hand, and then her fingers, she has 2 fingers on the trigger. If you've watched that in slow motion, she has 2 fingers on the trigger.
Shane.
Before you know it,
What happens whenever you lift a gun up by the trigger?
sheesh, I guess it depends on,
If it's loaded and doesn't have a safety.
like most handguns, hammer strike or
Okay, so when you're dealing with a Glock or a Smith & Wesson or any other number of striker fire pistols,
striker
which
fire.
is an internal
striker fire.
So, all right, I just unloaded it. Not a great idea. I'm not going to point it at anybody. That was a click. That was just me trying to pick it up with one finger.
Just the weight of that trigger. So for whatever reason, if you watch in slow motion, there's 3 different body worn camera angles. On hers, you can see.
Hers is the best because you see her
Hers,
finger
you
on the
can see
trigger.
her looking at trying to pull this holster out, and her fingers
on the trigger.
Her fingers on the trigger, 2 fingers on the trigger.
You just took a
You
just took a course on this, didn't you, for your concealed weapons license?
This was over a year ago now. Yeah.
Yeah. What was one of the first things they told you? Don't put your finger on the trigger.
Don't put your
unless
finger
you
on
want
the
to shoot the
trigger?
weapon.
Unless you want to shoot the weapon.
So she must have wanted to shoot this guy in the leg, which, hold on. She succeeded.
Okay, so you saw in the video that we linked here that yes, she shoots him in the leg.
He was so cool afterwards.
He was calm. He said one swear word is all I heard from him.
You got shot.
And
You're
he didn't say anything about her either.
That's
I don't
what
think.
I'm saying. He was so chill. And he's bleeding a shit ton.
He's a big imposing looking guy too. Like he
so
was
nice,
like 6'2",
so chill. He's a good sized dude.
He'd be close to 300 pounds. Like he's a big guy.
big guy.
He goes to sit down. They sit him down in the grass right there because if you've been to Florida, there's grass everywhere. But
It's because they have rain.
because they have actual precipitation.
Yeah, I know, it's nuts, right?
crazy.
Life can live there.
Jacksonville's beautiful, by the way.
And swamp puppies.
And yes,
Yoink.
So they sit him down. They take a little bit to render
Yeah.
aid. A little bit, I'd say. He's bleeding.
When I was watching the video, that was the thing that irked me initially. I was like, where's the TQ? Where's the fucking tourniquet?
They get it
Because they're kind of talking. What was your first takeaway whenever they started to move him? The thing that you were the most concerned about?
They left the gun on the ground.
Yeah, I remember. He takes it from her and sets it down.
Well, no, they have to tell her, just put it down, just put it down.
Oh, I thought he took it
And
from
so
her.
she sets it down by the back tire. He's like on the right of traffic near the sidewalk, and there's cars just, still driving by.
And that
so
dude
they're-
on the bicycle.
They're rendering aid, and then there's a loaded weapon on the other side of the vehicle.
Yeah.
They're worried about this guy with the gun, and now all of a sudden the gun's not a concern.
Yeah, it
it can
doesn't
just
matter.
sit there loaded.
Well, they were all probably
as people are going past it.
at that point. They probably are also all concerned that they're going to lose their jobs,
Yeah.
as they probably rightfully should.
So she just sets it down, and it's just sitting on the driver's side where there's cars just going by. A guy on a bike rides right by too. I'm just like, okay, this gun's now not a concern for anyone. All right, it was, and that's why
I can't.
you want to
dude,
take it off.
When I
of him.
watched that video, I knew it was going to happen because otherwise, why would we be watching that video?
Right.
But I'm just like, how in the fuck could that be the result of this?
I
How
don't
could
know,
a
man.
police officer who has to take special training with firearms?
This just happened in December too.
Do we know what happened to her?
No, limited information on it so far. I'm sure there'll be an investigation.
Good news is
She doesn't say sorry once either. Like that
No.
other guy in Bowie, the police officer who shot at the guy, missed him, immediately says, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." Remember, he had his hand in his.
he didn't miss him.
He didn't hit him.
He didn't.
No, he didn't hit him.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, he didn't
He
hit him.
got so lucky.
He just jumped to the ground out of fear.
yeah, because you're 3 feet away from someone and
Yeah.
they start shooting you.
He
Yeah,
missed.
we're sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
how did he miss him is I guess a good question, but
Well, that alone should get him fired.
so this girl looks a little bit in shock. This female officer, she doesn't look like she's brand new. She doesn't look super young either.
No.
She looks, into her 30s, 40s, so I don't know. I haven't looked up all that information on her.
Do we know her name?
No, I didn't. The report I saw didn't have her name. Sometimes these are like watchdogs that get the info and they just post the video, as quickly as possible.
Sure.
And more information comes out. But we'll look into that and we'll see. All right.
Insane. Absolutely insane video.
I want to compare this. Okay.
Finally, I've been asking you forever, and you never wanted to
What?
compare.
Don't say that.
Hey, man, did you skip the fact that we said insert 46 times in a row a minute ago?
Yeah, I just ignore you guys because I have good wholesome family that watches this, and you guys go and ruin it.
Your kids don't watch it, do they?
No, so
Okay, that's fine.
I want
Sorry,
you to
Hannah.
watch this video. It's about 2 minutes long. Let's
a
put
pause.
this whole thing in here too, Austin. The Florida DUI arrest.
You want this lawsuit?
Virginia,
You really do?
take a breath. All right, so here's the deal.
There is no deal. I don't have my keys to my car.
Virginia,
There's nothing that says I can't
Virginia,
walk it.
can you please stop and let me talk? Here's the deal. You are detained. You're under the influence of an alcoholic beverage, in my opinion.
Nobody
you haven't.
said
Can
that
you stop?
when I became
You
when I
have-
walked.
You have an odor of alcohol in your breath. your actual physical control of the vehicle when we got here, okay? We were trying to give you a break on the DUI investigation. At this point, I'm tired of playing the games. I'm going to do a DUI investigation on you, okay? Are you going to submit the field sobriety task, yes or no?
No, I'm not.
You're not going to submit the field sobriety task?
Because you told me as long as I had somebody to come pick me up, as long as I didn't drive, I'm fine.
Yep.
Am I driving a vehicle? Am I attempting to operate a motor vehicle? You guys took my keys, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm walking down the road. What are you going to arrest me for?
Okay, ma'am. Are you going to submit the field sobriety task?
No, I don't have to.
Yes, ma'am, you do. Because here's the deal. Can you take a stop walking? You're going to be placed under arrest for resisting. Stop.
I'm not resisting
All right,
arrest.
it's obstruction.
This is whoa.
Keep on your back. Take it easy. Take it easy. Yeah, I'm just trying. Put your hands behind your back. Put your other hand behind your back. Stand by.
No, Paulie, no.
Stop.
Hey Siri, upload this video to iCloud right now. I opened the garage.
I don't know why you're making this so hard, Miss Virginia.
I hope your body cam is running.
Yes.
Dude, every time we watch something, it's about something terrible. So every time I'm looking at this, I'm waiting for this horrible thing to occur.
No, I just want to show you this. I'll give more context into it too.
Okay. All right. I watched
That last part is hilarious. Hilarious when she thinks,
Alexa, upload the video. I'm opening the garage.
and then the dog, like, she thinks the dog's gonna help attack the cops, and she just
I mean, that's the
starts
concern,
looking.
right? Like if your dog, if it's your dog and then someone wrestles you to the ground,
Yeah.
and then they are going to shoot your fucking dog.
So
Police officers.
I'll
I
give
mean,
a-
I know it's an ATF thing, but like still cops, they'll do that. They don't care.
I'll give a little context in the whole video. The police are called out to somewhere in Florida. The guy doesn't say where it is. I looked into it, couldn't find where this was, but he cites Florida statutes for this stuff. The kind of there's people out there that post police videos just to post police videos. So they talked to her for a while. She's the one that called out, or he's the one that called out. She was breaking into an ex-boyfriend's house, and then he pushed her out. So it was a DV call is what it was originally. And then they find her down the road a little bit. It's his dog that just kind of wanders the neighborhood. This seems like some podunk area, you know, so dogs just kind of
relax.
No, I don't mean podunk as a negative. Rural area. Rural area.
Thank you.
Sorry. That's much better. All right. So
Not as green.
So they go investigate the DV first.
Okay.
They do say, "Oh, we smell alcohol, so you are being detained." She tries to kind of like sneak out of there. And they're like, "Well, we're not going to arrest you." They give her all the chances in the world, right?
Okay.
And they say, "Just get somebody here. Get two people here. One to drive that car out, one to drive your car out."
Sure.
Because we're worried that you just come back and drive your car
Right.
out. Because she was saying, "Well, I don't want to leave it. You know, it'll get broken into by this ex-boyfriend." And it doesn't look like
Fair.
that's the case because she looks like the aggressive party in this situation. They give her a ton of chances, and I just see comments, and I kind of agree. If you give anybody an inch,
They'll take a mile.
They'll take a mile. And so if you give somebody a chance to have a DUI, but they didn't want her to continue DUI, right? Like,
Sure.
I guess that's a lot of the point of criminal law is to not have this behavior happen again.
Well,
so
it sounds like
they're
they-
cutting off the behavior, what they're trying to do, while responding to the initial call of the DV.
Which is probably why they were trying to give her a break, because she might be the victim of something.
She did have a mark on her. So they just determined that he was defending his property because she had broken in. She doesn't live there.
Oh, so she committed
She
a
doesn't live
burglary.
there. Yes. So
Love that for her.
just that soundbite at the end. It's just hilarious to me that you have the most compliant, the guy in the first video in Jacksonville, super compliant, argues a little bit, says, "I went through the yellow."
Debates.
But I think what I want to tell our listeners, what I want to get through your heads, it's not the time then on the side of the street to argue your constitutional rights. That is not the time for you to be a constitutional author and tell the cops that you know the rules better than them. Because it doesn't matter. They're not going to listen to you no matter what. They're not going to say, "Oh, darn it, you know the rules. Like, now we're going to stop what we're doing. We're not going to arrest you. Dang it. You pulled out the magic,
Fourth Amendment
get out
card.
of jail. Fourth Amendment. You know the Fourth Amendment inside of the case law. That doesn't matter if you cite it to them or tell them. It's about the interaction, what you do, how combative you are, and what they do. So, unfortunately, you're not going to get it resolved right then and there. It's going to get resolved later. Okay? So, I'm sorry to say, she says that she's not arrested. You told me I could go free earlier, but with a specific, hey, if you had these other 2 people, we'll let you go free. Otherwise, you're being detained. And we could convert that into a DUI investigation and an arrest, potentially. That's what they told her. Cops were doing the right thing in this instance anyway. Not always, but they had the right to arrest her because she was behind the wheel of the car when they got there. She was in control of the vehicle. So, that's enough, gives them enough basis to do a DUI investigation. And they smelled it, or they said they smelled it. And she did seem, in the whole encounter, seemed like she was drunk or at least inebriated on something at some point. So
Sure.
just what's up?
I have a funny one that I'm going to play the audio for.
Or, here's another idea that's going to be very controversial. You could shut the fuck up.
Just do that. Just do that. I mean, it's just all these videos of these, police people. They argue with the cops
Well, especially once
they're going
they
to accomplish something there, and
once
you're not.
they give you that out, stop.
Take it. Leave.
Yeah, I have a couple buddies that avoided DUIs in college or when we were kids because, like, back in the day, especially, or in a rural community, you're more likely
Not a podunk community.
not a
rural
podunk town.
community.
No, it's different. We're
I
not from
have
Missouri.
difficulty saying rural. So,
Rural.
So I got to say podunk.
Rural.
Yeah. Okay.
No, you got to mash it together like you got a little peanut butter in your mouth. That's how you talk like that.
All right.
Rural.
Go ahead.
Anyway, they'll come through and you're not a bad guy or you've had a bad day and the cop, it's a local community. They all know, right? If I get pulled over by, Barney Fife out here, he don't know me.
Yeah.
Whereas if I get pulled over by, I'm trying to think of Sheriff Newby, he knows my dad. He might know that, I don't know, my grandpa just died or whatever, right? Whatever bad thing or good thing, you graduated college, you're just celebrating a little too much, you've had a great day. Why don't you get your dad to come get you? Something like that. Take that opportunity because it's not something that exists in every place. When you get a kindness, a gift, take it and shut your fucking mouth.
And the cops were really trying to not arrest her for DUI here, and yet she snuck off. That's what started this whole encounter. They said, stay right there, stay by your vehicle. And then they were talking about what they wanted to do, about the domestic violence. Hey, do we want to detain her? Do we want to arrest him?
Sure.
And then she just kind of tried to sneak off, just walk away. And they're like, well, that's not what we want. We'll drive you to where you're going to go. But we don't want you to just drive off. They had her keys too. So
Right.
They took her keys. That was the first thing. That's how you know you're being detained, I guess.
Yes.
It's one way is they have your keys. They don't want to arrest you yet because they might not have to. And people become combative and, they do try to resolve things if they can before taking it to the next step. But just don't say anything. Just don't say anything. If they give you a resolution, take that resolution. If they say get a ride, have somebody else come to, figure it out. Just figure it out. Because then she could have avoided being arrested, which she was for DUI. They denied the DUI charge I saw, but they kept on some resisting charges. So you don't want to face that. There's no reason that should be hanging over your head. Just avoid it. Just avoid it. And don't go back to ex-lovers. Don't break into their homes. If they block your phone number, just cut it off there.
Don't break into their house with a fake gun and get arrested. And then 2 months after you get probation.
She's a listener.
I'm just saying, don't do that. And I told her not to do that. She knows. We spoke about it. When she gets out of prison, I'm sure she's going to hit me up. And I'm going to say, hey, how are you doing? You doing what we said and staying away from that guy? It's going to be good.
That'll be good. Don't further make issues in your life that you don't need to, okay? Avoid toxic people. There are people that aren't good for you. Avoid them.
Correct. And the person themselves might not be toxic and you might not be toxic, but when you get put together, it could become toxic.
That's true.
Right?
All right, listener question leads into this, so we'll jump to that. February 13th is our episode, or is that when our guest is going to be on?
No, guest is going to be on the 2nd.
Okay, February...
4th.
Something like that.
Whatever.
February 13th, we're going to be live. We'll do it live.
We're doing it live.
Have your questions then.
We'll do it on YouTube. So live on YouTube, and then we can also go live to...
Live on YouTube.
Does
Wow.
it then keep it or does it go away when we're done?
Oh.
So it's like a real episode. It just was live.
I mean, you can pull it down.
We'll think about that. Can we pull it down, edit it, and then put it back up when Justin's language is all at issue?
We're going to do it live.
We'll do it live.
No,
All right.
We're going to do it live. It's
Listener
going to be
question.
a test for me to see if I can not be a huge piece of shit.
At what point during a traffic stop should I just shut up and say lawyer? Do I even need to do that when in a traffic stop? Oh man, this is going to be a...
It super depends.
So that you could...
The easy answer is always.
You could be at a traffic stop where you're a suspect for murder, you know?
Yep.
You could be a traffic stop where your brake light's out and the cop's telling you, you know, your brake light's out. I need you to fix this. I'm going to give you a warning.
Right. They give you, well...
You don't know what's in the cop's mind.
And that's why I think the easy answer is just always. And don't say lawyer. Don't be
say
a
lawyer.
dick.
Wait till they come up, you know.
Present them with the information.
See what they want, because they might not even ask for your license. You know, it might just be, hey, your taillight's out, or hey, your tire's low.
Pull me over for a low tire. We're going to have a chat.
They might, like, just to...
My mom's been pulled over for a low tire. It was like...
Because
getting a rim.
it's an unsafe,
Well,
you know.
then you're pulling them over because you think they're DUI. Because who's going to drive down the road on a rim seemingly unaware, except for somebody who's blasted?
Depends on how
that hit a curb.
Depends on how long, you know. If you hit a nail or something and it goes like real fast,
and you don't
might
realize
not know.
It happened
But
during the drive.
but the cop doesn't know that. He sees you driving and he's like, "Wait a minute."
We'll go with the assumption that you don't know what you're being pulled over for. I guess
Yes.
that's a safe assumption. Or
So-
you know that it might be a light traffic issue, you know. Or we'll say you're completely in the dark. Or oh man, did I get through that light when it was red? Or is
Yeah.
that cop going to say it was red?
But
We'll go under that assumption. They're going to come up to your window and normally they'll say, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" or license and registration.
I think they're supposed to tell you why they pulled you over.
They're supposed to, but you know they don't necessarily have to.
I mean, they're all going to do it different.
I mean, and you can ask. I mean, I just personally, I would sit there and they're going to start the conversation. And they say, license and registration.
Which is so
you
stupid to me because my license plate has it on it. Why do you need to get me? Why do I need to get that paper? It's literally on my license plate.
I don't know.
You can pull it, you can run it, and see that it's valid. I watch them run me in traffic, like when I'm at a light and I can see them running all the cars. And they get to me and I'm like, okay, well, it's a valid license plate, which means it's registered. That's always seems so stupid.
The only reason you wouldn't have it is because you just didn't put it in your glove compartment. And
Which
or
mine's
it's
not
lost.
mine's not in my glove box. I don't know where the fuck it's at. Yeah, exactly. I took the sticker off. I put it on my license plate. Fuck off.
And if you get a ticket for that, you just normally show the judge that it was active at the time. I don't know why they would. I mean, they can see that it's active. Based
And
on your
I don't
license
know
plate.
if you can get a ticket for failure to have proof of registration. You can get ticket for not being registered, but like you can get a ticket for not having your driver's license on you.
You can. Every time I've seen those, they get dismissed.
You got a ticket for failure to have it on you.
For registration, even though I had the little plaque, like the little paper in the front.
Yeah, but
You normally take it in and they
different
dismiss it,
whenever
though.
it was COVID or whatever. And
A month or two ago.
really,
I texted you guys about it. And I got
oh yeah, I try to ignore you.
Did you take it in? And
No, I got it over, just paid it and moved on.
But it was registered.
Yeah. Just moved on.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
the Las Vegas Justice Court, you said?
I think so. I was. They ticketed me downtown. Like I was eating and then they came by.
That's garbage.
There's no way you texted me about that because I wouldn't have allowed you to do that.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all, dude.
That was dumb. Anyway,
Check the text.
The short answer is always be respectful, polite, and don't speak to them.
We'll talk about, normally what they can do is they'll ask you, hey, do you mind if I search your vehicle?
Absolutely not. Meaning you cannot search my vehicle. I do not mind.
No, thank you, officer.
Nope.
Was there a reason
I don't answer
that I can't
questions.
search your vehicle?
Sir, I'm not answering any questions today.
All right. Okay. All right. Yeah,
If they press,
there's
at that point, you invoke the Fifth Amendment.
There's no point you need a lawyer, and you're not going to see your lawyer until back at booking, at
Until
the
it's a
station,
problem.
until they're trying to question you. They can arrest you for whatever they're going to arrest you for. If you're DUI, for example, you're going to go to jail. A lawyer being there is not going to stop that. You're going to go to jail. They're going to book you. They're going to take your blood. They're going to take you through the process, and you're going to post bond. You're going to get out, next day after. So demanding your lawyer is only for questioning. That's the only thing it'll change. We're not going to show up there and change anything for you if you're being arrested for anything. If you're being a jerk to the cops, don't do that. Just, you can be short. You don't have to answer their questions, but they're going to see anybody as not answering questions maybe as being, problematic with them too. Like,
Yeah, that's fine.
which is fine, but it's not impeding an investigation.
Yeah.
It's not, because you have a Fifth Amendment right not to self-incriminate. So it's so fact specific.
But it can also go south so quickly, which is why my blanket answer in an abundance of caution is just respectful, compliant, all that stuff. Don't answer any other questions.
But if they ask you to get out of the vehicle, you get out of the vehicle. Don't argue with them. There's no point in arguing with them.
When you get out, however, take the key with you, windows up, doors locked. Unless there's someone in the vehicle, in which case windows up, doors locked, key still in the vehicle.
No sudden movements, no sudden movements, hands where they can see them.
What's that video where it's like, I'm going to help the officer get my driver's license? Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
I mean, if they're
But
putting
it's like in their back pocket or whatever, so it's like sitting there.
if they're putting handcuffs on you for whatever reason, which they may do, who knows?
Yeah, they might.
We see a lot of people whine and cry about how tight they are.
They're not comfortable.
They are not comfortable at all. You're going to have to just ask them, can we please loosen that?
Well, once they get it,
We want you to look the most reasonable possible.
once they get the handcuffs on, like the last time I was placed in cuffs, I sat in cuffs for like 4 hours. And they realized after like 10 minutes that, and I'm not even like a big shouldered guy, but I guess my upper torso isn't like super flexible. They gave me 2 pairs. They had one on each hand, and then those 2 hooked to each other because I was sitting there for so long. After like 20 minutes, they're like, you all right? Because I kept kind of like shifting, like, you good? And I said, no, it's very uncomfortable. They seem pretty tight. And he's like, well, that's as loose as I can make them. If you'll hold still, I'll put another pair on you. And I said, absolutely, whatever you need. And so then it made it to where my arms were still behind me, but they were a little more relaxed, so I could kind of relax my shoulders.
Okay.
And same thing, I was just super polite. I actually had a firearm on me whenever the police and I had our interaction. So, hands all the way up, told me to walk towards him. I'm walking towards him. He's like,
Walk backwards or forwards?
no, forwards. I think at one point he did have me interlace my fingers. Once I got to him, he made me turn around. They didn't make me get on my knees or anything. And he did ask me, do you have a weapon on you? And I said, yes, I'm carrying an appendix. And at that point, that's when he pulled my hands down.
Well, thankfully he took out the holster with the gun there.
I didn't even...
You don't remember?
No, I do remember. That is what happened, but I didn't even consider that at the time because it's such an absurd result that like you're going to fucking shoot somebody.
You're going to get shot in the
And
leg.
if he did do it the other way, I'm confident this guy certainly understood firearms. He had one pointed at me and his partner had one pointed at me. They definitely knew about guns, right? He put his down, immediately cuffs me, and then he was a little aggressive at first, both in his voice, but also how he was handling me. But as soon as I was like, look, man, I got one. I'm not going to touch it. My hands are all the way up here. What do you want me to do? Put your hands down. It was one at a time. It was give me this one, give me that one, cuff me, yada, yada, yada. As soon as he got me in cuffs, super cool.
And cops don't know what situation they're getting into.
Sure.
Like I was watching some body-worn camera footage this morning of a younger girl, tiny little girl, gets arrested. She gets put on the front of her vehicle. She had just like hit a car very violently, was alleged to have been going 85 and a 45.
Jesus.
Kind of spun out, hit a car, kind of climbed it. And so the cop there is not going to just, go in there, oh, hey, I'm going to put these handcuffs on you. They're going to be mad because you're endangering everyone around you. So it's not going to be, just like a Candyland experience. Oh, well, I have to arrest you. They're going to look at the person you hit and think you are endangering people with your actions. They're not going to be soft with you. They're going to be forceful. They're going to tell you what they think of you. That you're not a good human being. So be compliant to the best that you can.
Yeah.
Okay. Shut up though.
Yeah.
Shut up.
To my interaction, I was in a place I probably shouldn't have been, hanging out with a buddy of mine. And, there were some people there doing some stuff with marijuana. I had nothing to do with it, but I was just hanging out with a buddy. The cop started asking me questions. I gave him my name. He asked me where my address was. Once he looked at my driver's license, I confirmed that it was correct. He asked me what I did for a living. I told him I'm an attorney. And then I said I'm invoking the Fifth Amendment. And he's like, I'm surprised you even told me where your job was. I was like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have. But it was that moment that I realized it's time for me to shut up.
Yeah.
And I didn't say another word. And I was also able to leave that place with my firearm, despite the fact that, there were some dudes with drugs, whatever. I mean, it was legal.
It's legal. It's just, it was unlicensed, right? Like
it was unlicensed.
Yeah. And so now that that's a whole other thing, to get into the licensure of
and
selling marijuana.
The funniest part to me, and I didn't say this to him, but you want to kind of chat back to him. He's like, they're not paying taxes on any of that, right? And I was like,
that's the big problem.
I was like, I don't give a fuck about that, dude. You're talking to the wrong one. it's like fuck taxation.
State of Nevada is not getting its piece of this drug business.
I guarantee you, if I had said something about, I've got nothing to do with this, but I absolutely know what they were doing, I wouldn't have walked away from that. I wouldn't have this anymore. This is the firearm that he took off of me.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I wouldn't have it. It'd be property of somebody.
So you don't have to invoke your right to counsel unless...
you don't need that.
Unless there's something further going on. If there's something more serious, don't talk to the cops. We've already told you, be as limited with your information as possible. And we're well over time. Thanks for listening to another episode of Tangled Rights. Be ready for a live episode, February 13th.